Nathan here with the ebookreader.com. So for this comparison review, we've got the Kobo Aura 1 and the Kobo Forma. So the Kobo Forma has an 8-inch e-ink screen. It's got a plastic back screen, so it's a lighter and more durable than a typical e-ink screen. The Kobo Aura 1 has a 7.8-inch e-ink screen. As you can see here with the design of the Forma with the page buttons, it's quite a bit wider than the Aura 1, but it's also quite a bit shorter. It's also about 30 grams lighter, even though it's a little larger. The Aura 1 has more of a traditional design without any page buttons. It's got the flush front screen, and then you've got the USB port on the lower edge, and then it has this sort of a textured pattern on the back, and it has a power button in there on the back, the blue button in the top corner. So the Kobo Forma has more of a tapered design, so it gets a little bit thinner at the far edge there, and then like where the page buttons are, it kind of curves up, and then the back has this rubbery coating to it. So does the part where you hold it with the page buttons. So then one of the big differences with it is it has that rotation sensor, so it'll automatically rotate the screen. You can use it so the page button's on the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen, depending on how you want to hold it. Or you can use it in landscape mode. So Kobos don't normally have landscape mode for ebooks, but the Forma finally adds that feature. And it's got the power button on the bottom edge. It's really hard to press for some weird reason. And then it's got the regular USB port as well. One thing I don't like is it makes you swipe the screen after you hit the power button. One of the biggest differences between these two is just the color of the front light. As you can see, the natural light setting is completely different color. So, I mean, this is just sort of a general idea. They may have changed the Kobo Aura 1 over the years. This is a couple of years ago that this one was released. So, I mean, you got to just sort of take these front light reviews with a grain of salt because they can vary a lot from one to the next. One other thing with the Forma's front light, as you can see in the video, sometimes it kind of flickers a little bit. That's the PWM flickering. No other ebook reader I've ever seen has that, so that's sort of unique to the Kobo Forma, but you can't see the flickering in person. What you can see in person, though, is that sort of darker edge on the right side of the screen. It's kind of got a little gradient where it's brighter on the left. So the Kobo Aura 1 has some darker areas as well. The gradient is more from top to bottom, though, and you can sort of see the shadowy areas from the LEDs at the bottom of the screen. So they both have some flaws with the front light, and as you can see, completely different color with the natural light setting in a dark room on the Aura 1. So let's talk software now. Kobo's devices, they run the same software, so you got like 99% of the same features on here. The one difference with the Forma is you have the option to change the page buttons. Since it has the page buttons, you can invert them. And then you've also got these new settings in here for like show footer and show header. Kobo will most likely add that to their other e-readers as well with the software update. So I mean, just take this kind of part of the review. This probably be obsolete at some point, but right now the Kobo Aura or the Kobo Forma has a couple of extra different features. But right now, as you can see, page turns are basically the exact same speed. Funny thing is, I was trying this a little while ago, and the Forma was clearly faster than the Aura 1, but right now with this book, same font settings, they seem to be turning page at the exact same speed. So like I said, software features are mostly the same, speed's mostly the same. There's just a couple of minor differences with the Forma, like the fact that they introduced landscape mode, so you can switch over to landscape mode for ebooks. The Aura 1, Kobo's other e-readers only have landscape mode for like PDFs and comics, but not for Kobo ebooks at all. So that's one of the new features they added with the Forma. Like I said, I imagine that'll get added to the other devices as well. There's really no reason to just limit it to the Forma. Another thing up here with the menu with the Forma, you got the option to lock the sensor. So as far as loading this PDF goes, the Forma is a little bit faster. Then you go to page turns, they're the same exact speed. So, I mean, I think they have the exact same hardware as far as internals go. Kobo doesn't specify what processor they use, so I'm not going to take it apart to find out. So one of the other software differences with landscape mode in PDFs, on the Forma, they made it so that when you page forward, it goes down the PDF. So you can just keep paging forward and it'll go down the screen. Where with Kobo's other devices, including the Aura 1, you have to scroll. So if you page forward, it'll go to the top of the next page instead of going down the page. So you actually have to scroll, which actually doesn't work too well. So Kobos and PDFs, they're not the greatest combination anyway, but it's definitely a little bit better with the implementation, how they got it working on the Forma. So again, front light color is completely different. One other thing with the front light I forgot to mention is the Aura 1, it has an advantage because it has the auto adjusting front light. So you can turn it to automatically adjust if you want. So both devices are waterproof. They both have 300 ppi ink screens. So a lot of the same features. They got the same storage, same hardware for the most part. The Forma does have that newer ink screen, a slightly larger screen, and it's got the new design. So mostly just comes down to the new design with the page buttons on the side. Check the ebookreader.com for further updates about the software, because I imagine they'll be the same in time. But for right now, the Kobo Forma has a couple advantages. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.